oh, oh, uh, uh.
Hit him with the freestyle.
Hello, and welcome to Closing and Cuddles minisode. We're so excited because today we're talking about a topic that is so important to real estate and entrepreneurship and owning a business.
In our business.
Yep. If you didn't know, my name is Karen Barrios from the Barrios Co., and this is my husband, Raymond Barrios.
How's it
And
going?
yep, together we are realtors and owners, and have decided to embark on this journey of building a real estate business and generational wealth and becoming our own bosses.
Yeah.
Yep. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about today's episode, what it's about, and why this topic is so important. I know you're really passionate about it.
Yeah. So we have conversations offline. We try to make these podcasts relevant to what we're kind of talking about in the moment that time. The last few have been very real estate centric, more about like market and kind of like general knowledge. This one is kind of geared more towards people that are entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
They own a real estate business. It could be really any business. Today's topic isn't necessarily it's not exclusive to just real estate.
Right.
It's kind of, if you're in a business,
It's more mindset.
Yeah, if you have like an Etsy store, you're starting like a big venture, and you're just at that ground level like us, this is an important episode for those people that are in that mindset who are tuning in, or even if you're just interested about how this business works in the back end. This is a good episode for that. But we're talking today specifically about having an employee mindset when you should really be having an entrepreneurial mindset. Because
what's the difference? Yep.
Yeah, the big difference is you're not an employee when have your own business. And as an employee, you do operate very different than you do when you're a business owner, because there's so many more facets. You're getting hired as an employee to do one thing, whereas when you're owning your own business, you're responsible for everything. And I think a lot of reasons, we can just jump straight into it, I guess, that people in this business of real estate, they check out after 5 years. There's a good chance they may quit the business, is because they're expecting to have kind of that employee mindset. Like they're wanting someone to tell them what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. And they want that accountability. And you don't get that in real estate. It's 100% self-motivation. And if you don't have the mindset of an entrepreneur, you kind of have that employee mindset, which you have to grow out of, because a lot of people come into it and they've never operated outside of ever being an employee for somebody. They have that learning curve and they have that love. There's a lot of discouragement because it's like, how come nothing's working for me? Because it's like, well, your mindset needs to kind of be reprogrammed in order to be successful.
I agree. I really appreciate today's episode because we're talking not to just potential real estate agents or somebody who is looking to build their business, but we're talking about that person right now. You may be you may not even be doing any of this. You may be just saying to yourself, I'm working this 9-to-5 job and I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied. I don't know what I'm doing here. And there may be some other avenues outside of the normal configuration that we're led to believe that we need to operate into, right? And to be successful. And I know that for me growing up, I saw success, or success was defined by academic recognition. And I think academic accolades and my family was really big with education, right? Both my parents, in their country did really great in high school. My mom did an incredible career in college and then went into the professional world. She actually worked in advertising. And my dad, he, from high school was, then entered into the military and was there for years and years and years and just, continued to grow there. So I know that in both their arenas and their space, one of the things they instilled in us was education and how important it was to work towards something. And I know schools, which now that I'm older, I kind of feel like I have this love-hate relationship with school, because as much as I do feel like the discipline and the structure of being in a school, being around other kids, growing in that independence and challenging yourself is important. The way that we are graded in school, and I mean, of course, all those subjects are important to some degree.
You have a rubric.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I think that the way that somebody is either punished for doing something a certain way or not doing it a certain way by getting an A or an F, outside of knowledge. I mean, I'm talking about there's some things, I mean, where like, 1 + 1 = 2. Like,
Yeah.
you can't answer 3 and be like, oh yeah, you got an A. Like, like there's things obviously mathematically, like
There's
real life
standards
that are
and a
standard.
grading scale.
But
Yeah.
I'm talking about more the mindset of like, if you don't do this, then you aren't going to succeed. And I know a lot of people out there may relate to this and say, well, I'm not a school person. I feel like I did okay in school. I think I was, I did AP classes, honor classes, went to college, 3.0s GPAs. I never was this, A+ Dean's List kind of person, but I think I did really well and was very well rounded, is what I would say for me. But I think that once I exited and once I graduated college, my big thing was getting a job. I was like,
Yeah.
I need to get a 9 to 5.
Right.
I need to get a 9 to 5 with benefits, with a great salary. And that was just my goal. And when I got it, I was just like, yes, like I did it. And looking back, I'm just like, now as a business owner, I'm like, wow, everything what I made that first year out of college, which I think I made 42,000, my first
Something
job.
like that. Yeah. I mean, it's like the typical salary
Yeah,
coming
I
out of
think.
college.
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. Some people earn less, but I know for me, I think it was like 45,000 my
Something like
first
that.
year.
It's pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
pretty good,
Yeah.
pretty reasonable for an entry level job, full time, 9 to 5, and
9 to 5. I mean, let's be
I
real. You
made that
worked.
in one
Yeah.
deal
Yeah.
this year. So it's like incredible to see. Again, that was a lot of work too, but I'm just saying that as a business owner, my potential and it's just, again, being an entrepreneur is not for everybody, but it did take me a lot. And I still, in some areas, I'm working on not having that 9 to 5 mindset and leaning into that business owner mindset and entrepreneurial mindset, because it really is all on me if I decide to not grow, and if there is no fruit, is on me. And that's a lot of pressure too, though. So
Yeah, no, that's good. And I mean, we've been having this conversation, I think, just to air transparency. Like, these are real combos we have when we're like driving places and we're having combos 1-to-1.
yeah.
But
And there's
one
been
thing,
always growth and things that need to work on.
yeah, definitely. That was one thing that I noted to Karen. I love that we're a team because we both have different strengths. And one thing I told Karen is like, she's great with the sales. She's great with the people. But sometimes I have to give you the note and the critique, like, hey, you need to work on your business. You need to stop working in it. You need to work on it as opposed to working in it. And that's why we brought this up, because sometimes people come into this and they get so caught up on okay, the paperwork, and you got to do that right still. You still got to do like the contracts. You need to know how to do the skill. There's a hard skill that you need to understand how to do it. But then there's a lot of mindset aspects that are very different coming from a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Very different, because it's you don't have hours. And people always say like, oh, I got into this business to make my hours. It's like, you don't have hours. You work 24 hours. It's when you can get the thing done that you need to get done for your business.
Real time, we're airing this and it's, I think, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so we usually film late. Like, our day's full.
Yeah.
We got showings. We got all the production stuff we need to do. And then, and by production, I mean like the real estate business. And then at
Like the
night,
showings, open houses, seeing clients.
the hard skills.
Yep.
And then at night, it's like we make time. We're going to go get some food after this, but we make time to like film these, get these out of the way. And this is like extracurricular to grow the business.
Yep.
This is specifically for business growth.
And I get it. If you're a young agent out there, you're like, how do I do this on my own? And I completely understand, because I mean, my husband, even though he's your realtor and you're in this with me since day one, you've been so instrumental. You still are, you still work a full-time job Monday through Friday. So I really don't get your support unconditionally until night times. And that's why we're doing this at nighttime too. Because in the weekends, we have to service clients. Like today, we did a ton of showings, servicing clients, going to appointments, like doing what we needed to do in order to grow a business. So I see what he's saying, because I feel like, especially as a newer real estate agent, and even though I've done this time and again, I always take so much pride in deals. But the one thing you don't want to do when you're a real estate agent is focus so much of the deal that you have in front of you that you miss the prospecting and the marketing. And it's a hamster wheel. Like, so you really just
Yeah.
have to keep running, and you have to keep doing everything
Yeah.
simultaneously. It's not just like a project at work where they give you a project and they give you a deadline and that's all you work on. Like,
Yeah.
I'm spinning multiple
Plates.
plates
It's a good way to
at
think
the
of it. Yeah.
same time every day,
Yeah.
every month, every quarter, every
Yeah.
season. So I think for me, sometimes I can get very tunnel focused, and I think I need to work on really just really seeing it as a whole and seeing this as a big 24/7 commitment.
Yeah.
Not that I don't see it as a commitment, but it's just like all the time. Like,
Yeah, it's really, and it never stops, because you should always be reinvesting in your business and always making it better. And I think that's probably, I would say that's the number one reason why people get out of this business is they don't see exponential results,
yep.
and it's because they're doing the day-to-day work
Hmm.
as opposed to the exponential growth components that need to be in place.
Yeah.
So for us, like, we're just focusing on basic. Like, we don't want to have shiny object syndrome where we chase the next thing, the next marketing thing, or the next like tool, or the next program that's going to help us exponentially grow our business by 20 times, like all the stupid ads you
Yeah, I
see.
didn't mean hamster wheel like we're just doing all these random
No,
things.
I
Like,
agreed with
no,
you.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm saying hamster wheel for the basics. Like, and there's things that we're still better at. That's why last episode I mentioned about my clients. I'm like, you're gonna continue to be loved upon, because
Yeah.
the people that ended up working with me when I was a brand new agent to versus they're working with me, obviously I've grown so much, but I'm also my opportunity to give back to you has grown a lot too.
Hmm.
So it's almost one of those things where I'm happy my clients are kind of growing in this business with me, because they're going to see that growth over time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
No, and I think that's the point I was trying to make is so people, it's shiny object syndrome where people try to chase the whole thing, and it's really just focusing on the basics and doing those
mhm,
super well. So for us, production is important, but from a business perspective, we're working on our CRM and our email list, which is why you guys are getting this through an email. We're promoting this through the email, and then now you have the content to consume.
yep,
That's it.
yep,
It's super basic. It's not fancy. It's not, but it's consistency and it's discipline.
yep,
And then once we have that discipline down, then we can start growing into other avenues and start getting
yeah,
a little bit more advanced in the ways that we're touching our clients,
hmm,
reaching out and kind of communicating to them and operating the production part. So it really is balancing plates. So I feel like if you're starting a business, if it's real estate oriented or really anything, there is the balance of, okay, here's the product I'm trying to sell, the service I'm trying to sell. But in the back end, you really have to be working on the way that it's kind of substantiating. So if you want
the
to go on vacation
systems.
for 2 weeks, it's gonna hold up. It's not like your business is gonna catch fire and just fade away if you stop doing it.
Yeah. And even in our vacations, we've had to work on our
Yeah.
vacations because we've had to and I mean and I think that's why sometimes it's not that I don't want to share with you all my personal moments and all my personal life, but I also after a long day I want to be present. And that's why sometimes, I mean, I'm really big with Instagram. You know, I try to be as consistent as I can. And, now we're doing YouTube, there's TikTok, there's Facebook, but there's also those moments where sometimes it's not that I don't want to post or share, it's just that I really want to be present and I really want to be able to invest in whatever I'm doing with you, with
Hmm.
my dogs, with my family, with my clients even. So I think that there's of course always opportunity for growth. But what I love about owning your own business, not just real estate, but it's just in embarking in that journey, the importance of not thinking that you're just going to clock in and clock out.
Yeah.
You constantly have to be just balancing multiple plates and finding creative ways to pivot and
Hmm.
grow. So, and that's why, I know one of the videos we referenced Tony Robbins, and we referenced all these business owners that go to all these conferences and spend a couple thousand, and people are like, why are you spending all that money going to Tony Robbins show or something? And because the motivation is needed. You need that accountability, and I think that that's why we're excited that we're part of a bigger network, even within EXP, and that we're able to get that support from different agents as well, and kind of grow that community. And that's what I meant in my first video ever. And I talked about why am I so excited to do this? I'm excited to grow in friendships with people that are like-minded. We have a lot of friends and family that love us in our personal life, but I feel like in this work environment, it could get so competitive. And I think that even in the mountain or here in Bakersfield, like a lot of agents can feel that competition constantly because they're like, I want a piece of that market. I don't want you to take on that buyer, that seller. But I think it's important to also just be human and really think about it from the perspective of like, you are not just transaction oriented, but really business oriented. And I want my business and I want the ethics of what my business stand for to be what I'm all about. So that's why I really am very cordial and professional with every agent I meet, not just to win the deal or whatever, but because that's really who I am.
Yeah.
And people may not like it. People may want just someone that's like, you know, cutthroat, and that's fine. But you're going to encounter a level of purpose and passion when you communicate with me. And if that means me going about things ethically and in a certain way, then that's just that. Because for me, I'm here for the business. I'm here to build the Barrios Co. and what we stand for. I'm not just here to make a quick buck. And I feel like that's why sometimes some agents are just really bad at their job. And I've had to have conversations with agents where I'm on the phone and I'm saying, I am about to leave this conversation because it's not productive.
Yeah.
And I'm setting boundaries. It's not professional. And I'm calling you to that expectation. And I'm calling you to that fiduciary right for your client and my client, especially if we're in a transaction together. You won't believe how many times I'm just like, the common sense or those principles are not there, which is why I think having that owner mindset is so important versus just an employee. Because when you're an employee, how many times have you gone to the store and some of these employees don't even care?
Yeah.
They're just like, whatever.
It's not my
Excuse
franchise.
me, can you please, whatever. But that owner is going to take that time and so I think it boils down to everything, even attitude and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say, like, I feel this is probably it's the biggest reason I think people drop out. And it's the root reason. The symptoms are, I'm not making any money. Nobody wants to sell their house. Those are the symptoms, but the root of it is they're operating as an employee. And so it's like, and this is partly why I recommend a cloud brokerage, like an EXP or a Real. We're at EXP because it works for us.
Did you say Real?
Yeah, like a Real, EXP,
okay.
like one of those cloud brokerages.
Yeah.
So there's that. EXP just works for us. It's got the best model for us. It's going to work. But I'm saying the reason I recommend that is the brick and mortar, having a desk, it puts you right back into what you just came from.
Yeah.
It's like you just left that corporate cubicle environment or working in like that place where you have your spot and you're putting yourself in the exact same situation. And so you see all these people that know what they're doing. They're all experienced. You're expecting the expectation, the unspoken expectation is, oh yeah, that my desk buddy is going to tell me what to do, or my broker is going to tell me what to do. And you're sitting there with your pencil and you got your little laptop and you're just like, all right, when are the deals going to come? And they don't. And so I think the cloud brokerage forces you to not, it breaks you out of that. Cause it's like, okay, now I need to start like hustling and doing stuff because there's nobody around me to motivate me. So I do feel like there's a pro to the cloud brokerage kind of system because you're not at a desk in a cubicle doing what you were doing.
You have to be ready for that too.
Yeah, so I feel like that's probably one of the biggest reasons is like the symptoms are all the things, losing money, but the core of it is you're not operating as a business owner. And as a business owner, yes, you are focusing on different things. The production is not it's not a means to an end. That you should be using everything you're getting from your deals to put it back into your business.
Some people don't do that. Some people are just like,
well, you told me that too. You told me like, I never thought of it that way. Like when I was paying $5,000 for a camera, you're like, in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. And they said my money. And I'm like, no, you need to put it back in. That's an investment. And you can see it's serving us now.
Yep.
But you always told me, like, I feel like I had to change like the closed fistedness.
Yep.
Like I need to save my money because it's like my paycheck. My
Yes.
paycheck, I got to save my weekly paycheck because I got to
Yes.
make rent. Versus like, okay, I'm going to take a calculated risk. I'm going to invest in some ads. I'm going to take a calculated risk. I'm going to invest in some coaching. I'm going to take a calculated risk. I'm going to buy some camera equipment so I can make content.
Yep.
And you recirculate that money. It's the issue is you treat your paycheck like it's your weekly.
Yep.
Like I'm going to buy my groceries at this. And if you're doing that, some people do, I get it. But you're extending the amount of time it's going to take for you to start hitting those multi 6-figure numbers because your business could only grow as fast as the cash that you put into it.
I agree. So I think that this is such a fascinating, great conversation because I think mindset is so important when it comes to real estate. I think having a successful, powerful, passionate drive is so crucial versus being scarce and fearful. And I get it because when you go into this industry, it's so it is commission oriented. So we really don't get paid until deals are closed, and which is a very unique scenario and situation. So I think that the best thing we really could do at this point is if you're new or is to really evaluate what you wanted of life. Because I kid you not, if we end up deciding one day that we don't want to do real estate, it's not going to be because we're going to quit. It's going to be because our priorities are going to be aligned with something else. So I think it really goes back to what do you need and what is your family, what's important for that, and what do you really want? Because some people get into this industry because they're like, I want to make money.
And then what?
And then what?
Exactly.
I've made a lot of money, and then what?
And then what?
There's a lot of purpose behind everything I do, which is why it fills me up and I'm continuing to just grow all the time. But I feel really sad if like your only goal is to make money in life. Like I really legitimately feel really sad because money is going to come and go. Obviously, money is a commodity and it's going to give you a lot of leverage to do wonderful things with your family. It's given us so much. But at the same time, it just really goes back to principle, ethos, ethics. Like it goes back to all the core things that are important to us. So I think having a business mindset really correlates to your purpose.
Yep.
And if you're someone that just feels like I need to be in an environment where I'm monitored, where I'm motivated, where somebody's keeping accountability and I need that discipline, then maybe a 9 to 5 is where you need to be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it serviced me in a great way when I was there. But I think that now as a business owner, I've expanded outside of that. And the truth is that some jobs do require you to clock in and clock out. Like if you're a nurse and you're a doctor, I mean, you can't just be doing that 24/7, right?
Yeah.
But I think that it's important for us to evolve and not just focus so much on, I don't know, just like I think when you have that mindset, you very much don't give it your all.
Do we think about it?
Because you really just you don't have that accountability.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I see with some agents. And when I see where they're at, and sometimes they're really great agents. I'm not saying that they're bad agents. Sometimes they're good agents, meaning like they're constantly selling or buying homes.
They know the business, yeah.
Clients, like they know the business. And I think that people could just scale through with that in this industry. But I think the people that really do see this as a way of adding value, and that's why businesses exist, because they're here to provide a service and then, exchange. Like it's a give and take, right? Because there's only so much. And I know we've talked about in this podcast, like, we really want to aim towards making everything accessible. There is going to be a time where, time is commodity, right? I'm not saying we're going to be selling thousands and thousands of things here on the YouTube channel. I'm just saying like,
well, time is actually a major scarcity. You don't get that back. It's the one
so
thing you don't get back.
What I'm saying is that it's not a commodity.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that there is going to be a point where we're going to have to decide is this giving or taking away from what we could be doing? And if for some reason it's taking away, then we're going to pivot and change that. If it's going to make sense for us to put a course where we've added a lot of value into it, where it could be scalable and given to people at an affordable price or something, because we can't physically meet everybody, then that makes sense. I mean, all I'm saying is that that's why if the right purpose is behind it, it's going to grow. Right? Like I feel like,
No, I agree with you.
yeah,
And I feel like that's where I like that I agree 100% because you talk from like that mindset, emotional perspective. And yeah, I agree.
purpose-driven work,
You have to be super purposeful.
which is what we're about.
That's what we're about. And I like that. And also the cool thing is for us, for this industry, real
Mhm.
estate's it's a low capital investment. You can get into it for a couple thousand and you're good to go. You can start selling houses. Like you're licensed to sell a high ticket
Mhm.
product. But it's low ticket, it's low capital entry, but it's high capital for sustainability. What I mean by that is if you want to do this business for a long time, you need to have capital because there's going to be a point where you want to have more of a referral business as opposed to you actually managing those transactions. That's not profitable unless you're closing like 100 deals a year.
Mhm.
It's not. And the only way you can get the amount of leads and traction is if you're spending an exorbitant amount of money to get those leads and then you hand them out to people so that
Yep.
can service them. And that takes money, that takes time, that takes reputation.
Yep.
And so that's what I mean. It's low capital entry, but it's high capital for sustainability. And I think
Mhm.
that's where people kind of get, like you said it, they just see it as like, oh, I'm going to be selling houses and it's easy. Um, but if that's all you're focusing on, you're going to be doing that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us now, I mean, we love the fact that we're able to, spend our time with our clients on the weekends and do what we do.
Mhm.
I think once we start having kids and grow our family, potentially that may
We
change. I'm
adjust, yeah.
thinking,
We
well,
adjust.
just that.
Mhm.
But that's why I also love the EXP model because we want to also have multiple revenue streams and not
Mhm.
just focus on buying and selling homes. I think that's important. And that's always, that's the heart of the business we currently have right now. And it will always be, we'll always make sure to take care of you as a buyer and a seller. But that's why it's important to have a network where you could refer out and you could connect people to other people because we're always going to be in different seasons of life
Mhm.
doing different things.
Yeah.
And what I love about also EXP2 is I met a lot of great women who are doing
Yeah.
this in part-time hours.
Mhm.
They're not spending hours and hours and hours and hours and hours burning themselves out. And I actually don't recommend that too. Right? When we talk about 24/7 mindset, I'm not talking about like we're literally working 24/7. I'm talking about like it's just a state of being.
Yeah.
But I want to get to a point too where this business runs in a couple of hours
Yeah.
a week. I don't
Yeah,
want
and
to be spending,
we don't subscribe to hustle culture at
yeah.
all. Yeah.
And especially as a woman, because I think that there is a change there. There's responsibilities. And I have a big network of just moms that just are really excited about real estate, 6-figure earners consistently,
Mhm.
and they do it right. So again, time, like we talked about, it's not a commodity. So it goes back to passion driven work, right?
Mhm.
You're going to invest and you're going to give your best to the things that are valuable and important.
Mhm.
So that 9 to 5 mindset may service you to a degree, and but it's not gonna, in the grand scheme of things, gonna give you the satisfaction I think in life that everybody's seeking. But two, also, it's not gonna allow you to get to that next level as a business owner.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, my reco is if you're sick of your 9 to 5 and you're expecting that you're just gonna make a ton of money doing real estate, doing the same stuff, I think you're probably in for a big surprise.
Awakening.
Yeah,
Yep.
because that's not how it works. It's more work, but you said it perfectly. It is, but we're doing it to our own tempo, to our own cadence. So it feels different when you have like a boss say do X, Y, and Z, and maybe you're really good at what you do, and you're like, I know that's not the best way to do it, but I'm gonna do it because that's the way they're saying it. It's
Mhm.
nice when you have the agency in your own business to be like, I'm gonna run it the way I want to run it,
Yep.
and that's the fun part. If you're just trying to do a 9 to 5 job, just get a sales job somewhere.
Yep.
get on phones and sell some insurance policies and get a paid a salary. And then on top of that, might get a
Yeah.
little commission.
But if you want to do real estate, I've realized that it really is really hard
There's a lot of
work.
components. You're a marketer, you're a salesperson, you're an operations person, you're a recruiter. There's a bunch of things you have to get good at. And all of it does start from having cash.
Yeah.
But you don't need a lot of cash to get started. And
No.
if you can close a couple deals in your first month, then you got some gasoline for your engine to start fueling
You
your
just have
business.
to be ready to constantly pivot, constantly evaluate, self-motivate, and really be not just think, okay, if I'm gonna be a real estate agent, tomorrow I'm gonna work from 8 to 5, and like your schedule is gonna be really, really creative.
Yeah.
We work a lot of weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Monday, Fridays are always an extension of the weekend, I call them.
Yep.
And sometimes we can't be present at some things that we want to be present at, but this is just the season that we're in, and this is what we want to do. This is where we feel we need to be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And I think because that's another thing is you have to have a different trajectory. Your timeline has to be very different. Now I'm realizing it. And again, this is all more from the POV of like what we're learning,
Yeah.
as opposed to like, you guys need to do this. Like this is, and then we got a course for it. It's not that. It's what we're learning right now is
We may at one point do a course because I think it is valuable stuff once you create a system, and those systems could be valuable.
yeah, it's probably going to be like in this podcast form, though, very casual.
No,
We'll
of
talk
course,
about it.
of course. Yeah.
And so, but the point that I'm making is your timeline, your time horizon has to be different. As an employee, you're kind of thinking like quarterly, week to week, like, oh man, I'm gonna go clubbing this Saturday. Like you're thinking every week you get that paycheck or biweekly.
Yeah.
You're thinking but in this, it's like we don't have a monthly, we don't have like a weekly, we don't have a pay schedule, period.
Yeah.
It's we get, whereas our revenue comes in as we're closing, that's how we get paid. So I don't think about the weekend, and I don't think in those increments. You know what I mean?
we have metrics, but I mean, I can't right now. I'm working with so many buyers and so
And
many
they may all
incredible people.
close at one time.
They might all close
Yeah.
at one time, and that actually it always
all the time.
snowballs for
Yeah.
me. But what I was gonna say is, I'm not gonna force somebody or push them to buy something they're not ready for, or that we haven't found the right fit for them. So I think we just, again, the wonderful thing in real estate, I would love to be able to have 3, 5, 7, deals every month, but I can't also expect that right off the bat.
Yeah, because the timing's always
'Cause
different.
the timing
so
is
the
always
point I was trying to
different.
make with that is they're so used to they have a very structured. It's like you're saying with this. I love that you started with school. It's all so structured. I get paid at the time I expect to get paid. My hours are the times I expect to get paid. I
Mhm.
have a yearly evaluation to determine what kind of. I'm probably gonna get 2.5%, some joke of a raise, like
Raise.
super whack raise
Yep.
that doesn't keep up with inflation.
Yeah.
It's all very structured, all
Mhm.
very cookie cutter, all very like I can put my security in that because I know what my year is going to look like unless I get laid off, which is completely out of my control.
Hmm.
And the thing about us is you stated it very beautifully is we know what our yearly projection is going to be, but how that's distributed throughout the year, it varies on our clients' needs and how we're servicing them.
Yep.
So we might have a bulk of our closings happen in summer, and we might have like a month or two where we're warming people up, we're showing them houses, we're getting listings ready, and there's a lull. But then all of a sudden there's like 8 closings that happen.
Yep.
And that's very different than that pay structure.
Mhm.
And so our time horizon's different. We think about our year. We don't just think about how are we going to do this month? Can we make the rent?
Yep.
We think about how are we going to perform this year, and then what's our living expenses? How do we budget those living expenses so we're not like stressed out about money? And then we're thinking about a 5 to 10 year plan.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. Is I feel like biggest thing as coming from like a 9 to 5 employee mindset, you want to start your real estate business. I would say work on your calendar. Stop thinking in just an annual year and start thinking about your projection for the next 5. If you did that, you're not gonna quit out of this business in
Yeah.
a year. If you're thinking a 5-year plan and you give yourself a runway to actually take off,
I agree.
you'll be successful
Mhm.
because it's gonna take 5 years. Because it's gonna take a year just to get your CRM, your database in place. It's gonna take you
and
another
there's
year.
unexpected things that happen all the time.
Yeah, hiccups,
So
personal things.
personal things, life. So I think that you just have to really give it your all. I think my biggest thing with everything is, purpose-driven work. I want to be able to have, like you say to our clients all the time, I want to be able to look at you in the eye in a year from now and be excited that you bought here and be excited that we sold your house at the price point that we did. And I think we're big with ethics. And some people in this industry may say, oh, those people, they're not gonna last, or like if they think that way, it's all about the money, it's all about the metrics. The truth is real estate is a numbers game. If you call, if you do certain things, it's gonna pay off. That is really the truth, right? It goes back to data. However, are you gonna be happy? Are you going to really be, woohoo, my life is incredible. I'm calling 80 people every day and they're hanging up on me and like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
those are your stripes, but 100%. I don't like operating our business like that.
What I'm saying is that purpose-driven work,
Yes.
hard work,
Yes.
systems, basics
Yes.
are so crucial when it comes to building a business,
No,
especially
that's so good.
a real estate business.
Yeah, that's so, no, I'm glad you made that point, because that's I guess you verbalized what I'm trying to say too, is I don't want to do that. I like, you didn't leave your working situation so that you can be on a phone doing a bunch of things. It may be required early on, but you you want to evolve to a place where you have a tasteful business. And I read a really good advertising book about getting attention, and it made it a really good it was a great like visualization, good metaphor. It's like, let's say you're sitting at a table and you want to get everybody's attention. You can do that two ways. Let's say it's a big business meeting, and there's two ways that you can get everybody's attention in that room. And it was talking about advertising.
Okay.
One way was you can wait, then the room quiets. Everybody's waiting for like a good point because maybe there's a problem that needs to be solved, and that's where you chime in. You make a beautiful point. Everybody's eyes are on you. You have the room's attention. You did so gracefully because you had something important to say, something that was valuable and added value to the conversation. That's option number one. Option number two, which is just as effective, but you're probably going to get a different outcome in terms of the way that it's received, is you can spit on the table. They both accomplish the same thing. Everybody's eyes are now on you. You have the attention in the room, but both of those are very different ways to approach getting that attention.
Love it.
So in the
Wow.
same way, it's like, there's two ways you can be successful in real estate. You can be this data-driven, on the phone sales bro. That's gonna be a t-shirt one day. Sales bro. You can be sales bro.
Merch.
Leave the job that you hated for a job that you probably equally hate because you're doing all the sleazy stuff. Or you can earn your stripes, get through that season, get the capital, and build the business where it's like, I'm proud of what I do.
Yeah.
Like, this
I'm really
I'm
proud
fun.
of what
This
we
is
do.
fun for me.
We're so proud of what we do, and and I know this is longer, Minnesota than we
This
thought.
turned into a fun one for me.
Yeah, but I feel like we're so proud of what we do, and that's why we're just, whatever this continues to evolve with, obviously we have some hopes and we have some dreams, but if it ever, life circumstances or God or, whatever we decide, but right now the Barrios Co. Real Estate is the heart of this business. But everything that we've done, again, we're not perfect. We're constantly learning. There's been things that if I was your agent, if we were your agent 2 years ago versus your agent now, we've evolved and we've grown, and we're going to continue to do that. And again, not everybody is going to stick around and want to be in the boat. Not everybody's going to be like, yay, Barrios family. Whether you're, an outsider or, or inner circle, but I feel like that's not what matters to me. I think that what matters to me is what I am giving to people every single day. And I'm doing it with purpose. I'm doing it full of passion. I'm doing it and from a good place of life. And that resonates, and it's growing because people see the value in it. And I mean, of course, I'm giving them a service, and I think that's important to, have an exchange. Anytime you give someone a service, you're not just going to work for free. But what I'm saying is that it goes back to that 9 to 5. When you work 9 to 5, sometimes people do it out of passion, and sometimes people do it out of necessity.
Yeah.
And we're in a position where this is really something that we're just excited for where it's heading.
I would say it's purely passion at this point because we don't need the money. So it's just a lot of fun. And
We're so excited for everything that we do and every way that we grow. And I think because we've been like this to, we've we've embarked on this journey open-handed,
Mhm.
and we've embarked on it knowing what we're able to produce.
Mhm.
We're just so proud of everything. Even seeing our first listing to our listing now is just,
Yeah.
and or how one situation with the buyer went to now, or even a couple months ago. Like, I'm learning something, and that's all you require from somebody. I'm
Yeah.
not perfect. So,
Yeah, no, that's good. And I guess speaking to, if you're a new agent, if you're an entrepreneur, I guess it may make sense too. But this is kind of tailored towards that message. This message is tailored towards you. I would say give yourself a bigger time horizon. Don't think
yep.
about making a ton of money in the next 6 months. I would say think about making a ton of money in the next 5 years. That's like my first practical step to you. My second practical step, and it sucks because as an advertiser, I wish I can tell them differently because I like the fancy, I like doing cut stuff, I like making content. That's fun for me. I would say focus on your database, like how you stay in touch with people, and your mailing list.
Yep.
That's it. And I would focus on mastering those things for the next 5 years. I wish I had a sexier answer, but if you don't want to be part of the statistic of the people that fail in this business, don't focus on those things and you will probably drop out. And I would just say be very cautious. Like when you're going to these conferences or you're watching these videos and you see that one all-star agent who killed their first year, they closed 50 deals. That is the exception. That is the outlier. There's a reason they put them up there, is because they want you to aspire to that. They want you to see that person, and they
I'm
want you
not
to
saying
feel
it's
like,
not possible. It's just
yeah,
not the
they want you to
average.
see that person, and they want you to believe what is being sold to you, so that you can essentially, I'm just being real. I'm being real. They want you to buy whatever it is they're selling. You're probably seeing that in the context of a sales pitch somewhere. That's just a person giving us essentially a testimonial.
Yeah.
But I would say if
At the
you
end of the
really want to
day,
be successful
it's
doing
going to be up to
this,
you.
it's going to be up to you, but focus on the basics, man. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself a 5-year horizon. Focus on your CRM, your database, focus on your email list and how you curate that. And then I would say the next fancy thing is content. If you just did those 3 things and you got really, really, really good at them for the next 5 years, you will have more clients than you know what to do
And
with.
if it comes from a true, authentic,
Yeah.
ethical place, you're going to go really far.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going far and not doing that, but I don't want to work with them.
Yeah. Same.
Like, if I wasn't an agent, I would just be like, I'm going to get my own license and buy my own house. Like,
Yeah.
I've met some people
So
in this industry, and it's been like,
someone's pretty
so
crazy. So that's my
anyways,
advice. That's my
but I
direct
love those
advice.
advices. Yeah.
That's my direct advice. The cool thing is all that stuff is free, or it's a very, very marginal subscription that you can pay a good, there's a lot of SaaS companies, software as a service, that you can get these things done
Yeah.
fairly cheap. And
But if you join under EXP and you allow us to sponsor you and support you,
yeah, we do this.
we have, there's a CRM already built
Comes with
into
the fees that you
EXP.
pay.
It's yeah. So I
Yeah.
think have a conversation with us, because we want
Yeah.
more than anything
Yeah.
to connect with you, share with you how this could change your life
Yeah.
and how this can make you better.
And how much would you say? Well, how much startup? I would say startup. We probably spent about $2,100. That's what
start up everything.
That's what it took to like get license hung, get like all the classes and the
Association fees and
the
everything. Yeah, a few
classes,
thousand.
maybe 225. Let's say conservatively 2,500.
I think that might be
And then
even too much. But
that's
yeah,
being super conservative.
that's actually adding money onto
That's
it.
adding money onto
Yeah.
what it actually costs. But I would say spend as you don't need a ton to do the basics really well. You don't need a ton of capital, but I would say those first few months, try to put as much of it back into in making your clients' experience
Yeah.
better, and your clients will come. But if you just focused on those few things within your first, give yourself a longer runway to take off, because this is a big plane. Real estate business is a really big plane. So give yourself a long enough runway and be realistic, and save money going into it, so that you're not being motivated by the commission. Because if you're being motivated by the commission, you're not working for your clients as if that wasn't important, then you're not going to get that repeat business. And that's where we're starting to see the exponential growth. It's all the referrals after the fact.
Yep.
And so that's my advice, is keep it super simple. Most of the stuff you can do without having to hire a coach, without having to go to some crazy expensive conference, without having to buy some crazy shiny object that is promising results for you. If you just did those things and you're okay with being boring for a year or two, you'll be doing well over 250K within 3 years. I believe it. anybody. And within 5 years, you're very comfortable. You probably are in a position to grow a team.
I think there's a lot of good takeaways from today's
Yeah.
conversation, but thank you guys so much.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate that you have decided to spend these 45 minutes with us today. It was a lot longer than most, so this is definitely going to be an episode.
Probably a part 2 at some point.
Yeah, but we're excited, and like, share, comment, subscribe, and
YouTube updated their UI, but it's down there somewhere. You'll see the little bell and the subscribe button. It's a different color, but go ahead and hit it anyways and subscribe, and we'll keep putting stuff out consistently.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's conversation.
We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.
Bye.